Hello again. I've got my shortcrust pastry flan case that I made in a previous video, and I'm now going to fill it and make a savoury flan. It's not technically a quiche Lorraine because it's going to have cheese in it and they don't, but it's going to be a savoury flan. I've got bacon that I've snipped up into little pieces. I've got a chopped onion, and what I need to do first of all is go and fry those. So I've got my frying pan ready. We'll go over to the cooker and get that started. Now the fillings for your savoury flan are infinitely variable depending on your family's preference. So you can fry an onion, but then you could use cooked ham, leftover chicken and put some sweet corn in the flan. It's entirely up to you, but this is a favourite for us. And all I've done is take the packet of bacon and just simply snipped across the rashers, so they're all stuck together. But as I stir this, they will separate. And I'm not going to put any extra fat in here because the bacon will give off quite a lot of fat, as well as that liquid that you get sometimes with bacon. And that should be enough. If it starts to burn, I can always add a little bit of oil. Now, if you decide to use ham or cooked chicken, you do still need to fry your onion, and I would just fry it in a little bit of butter. But you don't need to put the cooked ham and the chicken in here. This is just for the raw ingredients. Now, once the onion starts to go sort of transparent and beginning to brown, you're done. So we'll take that over, and that can go into the base of our flan case. Now, this looks like a lot, and it is a whole packet of bacon, but this is going to make dinner for 4 people, and the bacon was £3. So actually it's not as extravagant as it looks. So this is going to go into the bottom, and we can spread it all around when we get it all in. So this is the point at which you would put in your cooked chicken or your ham. You could use tuna and sweet corn. You could do leeks, fry some leeks. Right. Next thing to do is to put some grated cheese on. So I've got cheddar, and you can put as much or as little as you like depending on your taste. And if you've got a different sort of cheese, that's perfectly all right. Red Leicester works. A milder cheese will work. And if you grate and discover that the piece sort of collapses in your hand, don't worry about that. Chunky bits are fine. So there's our cheese. I can spread that as well, so it's more evenly distributed. There we are. Now the next thing is the liquid. And for that, I'm going to use 2 eggs and some milk. So I'm going to crack the first egg into the jug. And then the second egg, I'm going to crack into this bowl because you know what I'm like. I don't like mixing eggs together until I'm sure there's no shell or nasty bits. So that's okay, and that's okay. They can both go in together. And now give them a beat with a fork. This is really quite important because you don't want somebody getting a great big piece of cooked egg white. You need to get this really well mixed. And then we're going to make that up to 300 mils with milk. There we are. And the last thing we need to do is put some seasoning in, so a bit of salt, not too much because bacon is quite salty. Good twist of pepper. And then give it another stir. And that goes over the top. Keep an eye on it because if you pour it in too quickly, it might overflow. And then you'll have a bit of a mess. So you can watch it going up the sides. But we're nearly there. All right, and 300 is exactly what you need. I'm going to tuck that piece of cheese down a bit. And then just to finish it off, some slices of tomato. I've washed it. And because it's a little bit soft, I'm going to actually just make a little tiny hole with the blade of the knife and then cut some slices. Things like this always look better if you can garnish them with something a bit colourful. And when you've cut your slices, look out for the bit that's got the core and cut a little V and get rid of that. So those are okay. So that's got the core in it, so I'm going to go like that and like that and get rid of that. That one's okay. So maybe in a circle on the top. You can put another piece in there which will hide the fact that you've got a hole in that slice. And just something to make it look more colourful. So that goes back in the oven now. Turn the oven down to gas mark 5 and it goes in for about half an hour. And you'll know when it's done because it's golden brown, it won't wobble. I'll show you, this is obviously very wet. By the time it's cooked, it will have set. But that's all there is to it. So you can see how keeping it on the baking tray gives you something to hold on to. It makes it much more secure. And if it was to overflow, you would catch it on there. So now a lower shelf, a lower temperature, and about half an hour. Now, our flan has had half an hour. I have just turned the oven up a little bit so it got a little bit browner. And let's have a look. Oh, I say. There we are. How about that? Now, to be sure it's cooked, not only do you want it to be nice and brown on the top, you also don't want it to wobble. It mustn't have that wet wobble. So if I shake it, it's sliding on the tray. Can you see that it's actually quite set? That's the thing about that. It's got to, the custardy stuff has got to set. So I'm going to take it over and put it on the worktop and put it onto a board. I think it's very, very hot. Here we go. Now what I want to try and do is get that off the baking tray and onto a board. And you could serve it just like that. Because it's got a loose bottom in this tin, as it cools down a little bit, I can actually give it a push from underneath and be able to serve it on something that's very, very flat like this. Don't try and put it on a plate that's got a dip because the thing will collapse. But this will actually come out and go on there and look nice. And I might even put something green just in the centre, like some parsley, just to finish it off. So there you are, a savoury flan. You can put whatever you like in it, as long as you've got the egg and the milk and some seasoning. So chicken and sweet corn, tuna and whatever, pea and ham. There, have a go. Hope you like it. Bye.